Welcome to Creatively Optimized, the podcast for service businesses ready to shine online. I'm Jenny Belanger, the founder of Jenny B Designs, a web design studio that builds strategic and beautiful websites that are designed to book you ideal clients and make you money. With over 10 years of growing my own design business, I'm here to share tips to creatively optimize your business. Get ready to learn web design strategies for high converting websites, digital marketing tactics to reach ideal customers, and systems to simplify operations. If you're ready to blend creativity and strategy, you're in the right place. Join me on this journey to creatively optimize your unique business. Let's do this. Hey friend, welcome to the podcast. Today, I have Taylor Kloss Pittsinger of Creative TK Marketing joining me. Taylor is the heart and soul behind Creative TK. She is on a mission to champion small businesses with genuine passion. From rockin' social media management to hands-on coaching, Taylor and her team dive into all things marketing, creating success stories for a diverse range of clients. Our conversation today is going to be about social media and how it's really an extension of your website. We chat about why it truly matters that your website should match your social media feed and vice versa. And she's also going to share a really good tip that you could implement in about a minute today on your social media feeds to make them a little bit more optimized. I think you'll enjoy this conversation, so let's get into it with Taylor. Hi, Taylor, and welcome to the Creatively Optimized podcast. I'm so excited to have you here. I thought maybe we could start with, why don't you tell us a little bit about kind of how you got to where you are and what you do now, and then we'll jump into the topic.
I am Taylor, owner of Creative TK Consulting. We do marketing for small businesses. And about 10 years ago, I was previously working at a job where I did marketing for Disney on Ice. And after managing that for 6 years, yes, I know Minnie and Mickey personally, I was burnt out, and me and my now husband decided to take a road trip for 3 months and just be retired. And when I came back, I started helping my sister. She's a photographer in Newburyport, market her business. And in doing that, I found there was such a need to help small businesses. Everyone was asking me, who was a business owner, can you help me? Can you help me? And I was like, wow, there's really a need to help these small businesses. Something I never thought of before. And then I decided to start a business and help small businesses and see where it would land me. And here I am 10 years later. And that's exactly what I do. And I still love it. I love my small business clients. They are amazing people. And I'm thankful every day.
Oh, that's awesome.
When I was doing marketing for Disney on Ice, like the idea of social media didn't even really exist. There was no social media ads. Can you believe that? And now it's like a bulk of what we do, right? It's for marketing when you have a marketing campaign. So the last 10 years have kind of been crazy.
So let's talk about the topic for today. Social media is an extension of your website.
Yes.
Thought maybe we could start at the top. Maybe you can share kind of how you view social media and how you relate it when it comes to your website.
Yeah. So first of all, I think that social media is an extension of your website. It is your brand. It is your brand identity. It helps you communicate who you are, what your values are. If you're selling a product or selling a service, it helps you represent that in kind of like an extension. So it's a more fun and creative way that you can do it and connect and communicate with people who are following you or might be one of your customers, right? So clients will come to me and they're like, I want to do an ad campaign and I want to use social media. My first thing is, how does your website look? The second question is, how does your social media look? Because you don't want to devalue yourself by your social media or by your website, which you're dealing with all the time, right? Communicating to people that when you're going to a website, you want to have no confusion about what you do. I say the same thing about social media. There should be no confusion about who you are and what you represent. So people are now going to websites and they're looking for that icon for social media, right? They're looking for the Instagram. They're looking for the Facebook. They're looking for LinkedIn, and they're going there and they're checking you out. They may not follow you. They may not like you. They may not comment on something, but it doesn't mean they're not going there to confirm who you are or learn more about your business. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I see that kind of both ways, right? You're saying that people go to the website and they want to check you out on social media. And I see a lot of people and they go to social media and they want to check you out on your website.
Yes.
And you need to make sure that those two places
Yes.
are super clear,
Yep.
but more importantly, that they match. Like,
They're
talk to us a
cohesive.
little bit about that. Yeah, cohesiveness.
Yeah. So, I mean, that brand identity and a brand identity for someone who may not understand those words is basically it's your logo, it's your colors, it's your tone, it's the pictures you use, the videos you use. That should all match and be consistent in a way that there's not confusion. So, for example, like on my website, there's a lot of, there's images of me because I'm a service related, there's videos of me and there's photos of me, but then there's also, like palm trees and there's graphics that I want to use that are fun because what I do is not brain surgery every single day. We're marketing, we're having fun. So I want to portray that onto my social media. But I'm not gonna go and start using blacks and dark yellow and reds on my social media when on my website I'm using turquoise and grays and pinks, right? It's like you just wanna create that consistency. So it doesn't need to be identical, but you want to eliminate any consumer confusion. They wanna go there and be like, "Oh, yeah, that's Creative TK social media." For sure, right? Like, you use it as an extension of your voice.
Yeah, absolutely. You want both places, the social media and your website, to look the same so you can get that feeling, that sense between both sides.
Yeah.
And it's important because, and you can talk a little bit about this, but I view social media as a driver. The goal of social media is to get people to your website. Like, that's where you have the conversations, that's where you have the fun, you share the social posts and like have a little bit of creativity over there. But the goal of
Sure.
it is to drive people back to your website. And
Absolutely.
when you do that, you want people to understand that it is you, that they're landing on
Yeah.
this website, that it matches your social
Abs
media experience.
Yeah, the experience is such a good word, and I think it's like, if you think about, like, say you were going on vacation somewhere in Boston, right? You go to the website, you're checking it out, you're like, "Oh, this looks really good," but you wanna get more excited. You're gonna go to their Instagram, and you're like, "What have they posted recently? What do they have going on?" I think Instagram and social media is a place where you can learn more about that business and kind of get excited. And that's kind of what I love about it is it gives you an opportunity to have a bigger voice beyond the website. But it is very important that that cohesiveness is there so there's no confusion at all. And I've worked with a lot of companies like or businesses like the Arlington Chamber of Commerce came to me like a year and a half ago, or actually it's 2 years now. And they said, we want to create a lifestyle on our social media. And so we basically took their brand and created it to be of a place that people go to learn more about where to hike in Arlington, where to eat in Arlington, what's going on this weekend. And, also highlighting their members, like giving their members value. And there's been such a positive ripple effect from that. And that's what I love about it is it just gives you that opportunity to be creative, and it's all about the brand identity. I'll have a client that I'm managing social media, and they get scared of me because, like, they'll post something, and I'll, like, text them. I'm like, "This is not in the brand. This is not within your look. We have to take this down. And if we need to design something else that fits into your colors and your logo, then that's what we'll do, and we'll put that slide second. But you have to be I'm always thinking about the consistency and, like, how is it gonna look as people are glancing at it? I don't want any confusion. So I can be a little bit of a stickler, and some of my clients are I don't wanna say scared, but, they understand I take it seriously, and, like, my job is to make you have that branded, cohesive, but fun look, if that's what you're looking for, fun. Not every client is fun, we're working with a lawyer. They're a little bit more professional. So it's always understanding, like, I know you talked about your last podcast about the buckets that you're in, right? Or, like, are you fun what were the buckets, Jenny? What were they?
Oh, are you the fun one? Are you the
Yeah.
kind heart
Yeah.
expert and the rebel? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that could be like that's part of your brands, right?
Right.
So I'm sure you work with clients, and it's like, what are 5 words you want to describe your website? It's the same thing as social media. So it's like, yeah, like, is your social media just, like, loud and fun and just breaking all the rules? Like, that's cool, but stay in that box, right? So it's all matching throughout, and it doesn't
Yeah.
the consumer walking away.
Yeah. I love how that's your philosophy. Like you have to
Yeah.
stay in your lane with your brand
Yeah.
because I find a lot of times some of my clients are coming to me, they're in the process of a redesign. So we're redesigning their visual brand and we're
Yeah.
redesigning their website. But when looking at their social media, you can tell that perhaps they've been managing it themselves and they've gone like a little bit down the Canva rabbit hole. I
Mhm.
find that it's like so easy just
Mm.
to like get some cool templates and sometimes you pick a different font and you pick a different color because it's like fun, but that look and feel doesn't match your website.
Right.
And so I think it's okay to reinvent yourself. And if you need to do it, on your own, like as DIY, like that's absolutely fine. But just make
Totally.
sure that whatever you do on your social media, you're carrying it through to your website. So
Yeah.
you do get that consistent look.
Yeah, and I think it's Canva is a great tool, and AI is a great tool, and it's knowing how to use them. And I think sometimes we think all these tools are going to make our lives easier, when in fact, I sometimes feel like it makes our life harder because you go on Canva, there's so many designs to choose from, and you could go in like 17 different directions, and it's knowing when to kind of stay in your lane, even on Canva, because there's so many fun things. And I always, like my clients will come to me and they're like, I'm not getting like a million followers. I'm putting all this time in. And it can be frustrating, I think. And so I always go back to knowing what your goals are with social media. So, what are your goals? Is your goal to be an influencer and to start like promoting products on there? Or is your goal to, get people back to your website? Is your goal to just have consistency? So you're not sent necessarily turning anyone off, but you're like, I know I don't have enough time to be on Instagram every single day. So I know that that's my goal, but I still want to have that consistency and kind of coming back to that. Cause like for me, as someone who does marketing for small businesses, I look at my social media as like, I don't have time to do it every single day, but I want to practice what I preach. I want people to come there and know it's me. I want to have a voice, but I don't drive myself crazy about it. Right. So I think you just got to know what your goals are. And then the same when I'm doing my marketing videos, I always come back to that goal of with my marketing videos, like if I'm promoting a class, I just remind myself, I'm like, okay, I'm doing this video because I want people to see me as an educator. And that is why I'm doing it. So, not to get wrapped up in like all the likes and stuff, and just show up and have a plan, have a consistency, be branded, have fun with it, and not to get too stressed out about it.
Yeah, I like that a lot because
It's
social
hard.
media isn't the same as it was a
It's
few years
not.
ago.
It's definitely not. And here's a great example of like, I had a client who came to me and he just emailed me out of the blue and was like, "Oh, I found you through the Chamber of Commerce. And then I went over to your social media and I watched your videos and, decided I liked you. And so I messaged you." He didn't like anything. He didn't follow me and he didn't comment.
Mhm.
So there's like validation right there that shows that don't get worked up by that. It can be a lot with all the different channels. And my message to small business owners is you're one person. Most of us are wearing 17 different hats, right? And so if you can only post once a week, then you can post once a week, but have a little bit of strategy behind it and know how that matches your website and that matches your brand. Because over time, those 6 posts are gonna become, 12 and, 24 and blah, blah, blah. It adds up over time. I think that it's important to think about the balance too in marketing and knowing when to delegate as well. Like, people go to you to build their websites because 'cause you're an expert at what you do. People come to me to manage their social media because 'cause they're an expert at what you can do. So, if you have the budget, it's probably something that's worth delegating, right?
Mhm. Yeah, and remembering your goals, like what is the goal and the intention behind all this social media posts is really important too, I think.
Yeah. It's not just don't just do it because someone tells you to do it. Don't just start a TikTok because someone says, start TikTok. No. A, do you have the time to manage that well? And B, is your audience even there?
Mm.
Those both need to be a yes for me before you just launch into that. And some clients will come to me and say, like, I have 3 different businesses, but their consumer is the same, right? then they say, should we start 3 different social media accounts? And the answer is no. If you have a business that's kind of like the umbrella business and underneath it are some businesses that make sense under it. So for example, this is for a contractor I work for. He does an electrician company and then he does a upkeep maintenance business. Those are all the same clients, right? The same people who need those services. So starting 3 different accounts, sometimes the answer is no. Like, we don't have time to manage that. You don't have the budget to manage that, and that's okay. And analyzing that is such an important piece of the puzzle to not burn yourself out and then do nothing.
The 3 words that come to my mind is less is more, because I always say that. Like,
Yes.
I think it applies to every single aspect of your small business, your
Yes.
website, the copy, less is more, the pages, as well as social media be consistent and what you can do it well, and don't worry about the quantity. It's more about the quality of the final product.
100%. And I see a lot of people who want to launch these big campaigns or even if social media. And Jenny, I think the one thing that when you're working with people is like if they say, "Oh, I want to do an ad campaign," or my first thing I say is, "Well, what does your website look like?" Because those Google AdWords or those social media ads are most likely going back to your website. Do you want to spend all this money to have a website that does not look good or is not functioning correctly?
Yeah.
Right? So it's like that's where the connection goes even beyond just having things being cohesive. It's like don't waste your money
Right.
because you're paying for clicks. When you do any type of Google or any type of social media ad, you're basically paying for those clicks. So they'll go to your website, and if it looks terrible or if it doesn't match the ad, well, I'm confused. I'm leaving.
If it's not set up for the conversions, you have wasted those clicks, so that the person's not going to take action on your website. So you're
Right.
driving people to your website, and it needs to be set up right and match your current brand and your current business and what you want them to do.
So that's the first thing I usually talk about with my clients is I always go to their website and be like, how does this look? And then I pull the ideas from the website. And if it needs tweaking, needs a new look, or needs to just a whole refresh, then that's something that is going to happen before any social media is ever done. Because to me, that's your baby. The
Yeah.
website is your baby, and the other things all come back to that.
Yeah, it's the foundation for everything. Yeah, I
Foundation,
agree.
yes. I was looking
Yeah.
for the right word. Foundation, not baby.
So maybe you could share with us a couple of things, easy things, or like the one thing that maybe a small business owner can do to make sure that their social media
Yeah.
is kind of working.
So I think the first thing is let's start with Instagram and look at your bio. What is written in your bio? Is it easy to read? Are you using some different little emojis, or even there's like little square emojis that you can use to break up that text in that bio to make things easier to read? Do you have a photo? Do you have a logo as your actual icon? Is it clear? If it has your logo, does it look right? Oftentimes I see like a business logo you only see half of it. Some of those little basic things. And then when you're getting into the nitty gritty of the actual designs, it's like if you're using Canva, which is a great tool, you can create a brand guidelines within Canva. So you know what font you're using each time, you know your colors, and you can start implementing those into every design you do. And also know that like everything doesn't need to be a design, right? It can be a photo. Always with businesses, I'm very careful about how much personal stuff you're sharing into that business account. If you are an influencer, this is different, right? It's different. You're sharing probably a lot of personal things on there, but when you're a business, I say, okay, let's share a little bit personal. I mean like family, your dog, your cat, your vacations that you're always going on or whatever it may be. Share some of that, but it shouldn't just be that, because then what's the difference between your business account from your personal account? Right? It needs to fall in line. And I give people the tools of like, think of different ways to share content. You can educate people, share behind the scenes, show consumer lifestyle. So what's it like to be your consumer? That could be like sharing a review and then talking about the services or the products you do offer and just having a mix of those things to feel balanced. So it's not just all like, here's a product I sell, buy this, buy this, buy this. It's like, oh, actually, here's the behind the scenes of how I design this product. So I would say some of the basics is that bio. What does your photo icon look like? And then actually having balance when it comes to that account that, of course, matches the website, matches your brand identity. The same goes for LinkedIn or Facebook, all of the things. I think that a balance is always good on all those profiles.
I love the balance. And then actually the icon
Yeah.
tip in the bio,
Yeah.
I think that's really important because people like, just like on your website, like people just like to skim. And so you want
Right.
to do like lists and icons and anything that
Yes.
catches our eye. And that just breaks up your
It
bio
really
into
does.
social.
It really does. Because if you just have a paragraph in there, like no one's reading that.
Yeah, that's a
Just
good
like
tip. Is there a mistake that you see a lot of your clients make that maybe we could look out for and be aware of that would help us?
you have something you want to promote and someone hands you a design and you just throw it up on your social media. And I especially refer to Instagram with this because it is such a visual tool where people are going to your profile and they're looking at it from above versus like Facebook is like you don't see all the posts together in a collage. So I think if someone gets handed something and they want to promote it and they just put it up on their social media on their Instagram and it doesn't fit their brand and they continually do that, well, it just starts to degrade over time. You got to spend a little bit of extra time to use an image or a design that matches that brand so you don't fall off that wagon of the cohesiveness. Because over time, it will diminish your brand. And that's not what we want.
So I have a question about that because
Yes.
I know what you're saying. Like, sometimes if you're a guest podcast, they'll give you some assets to share or things
Yeah.
like that. And you want to post them on your
Mhm.
feed on Instagram and you don't want to make a new design. What happens? Do you ever recommend to your clients if they post it and then archive it so it's not shown on the grid? Is that a good way to handle a situation like that?
Yes, you could hide it. But if it was me, I would probably design something new that would
Mhm.
match my brand. I would just take that extra time. Or I would maybe use a photo, like a headshot or something like that, that could represent it, that you don't have to necessarily do a design.
Okay. All right. That's a good idea. Yeah. Save
Yeah.
some time with the photo.
Yeah,
Just, in
exactly.
the
Because I get it. We're all working, we're all have a lot to do in Canva. Like I said, I know it adds time. Yeah, it doesn't have to be that. You could do, I've seen people even use like, it could be like, I go back to that picture of the palm tree because it's visually, it's appealing. So maybe if you don't have a really good photo, and trust me, I deal with this all the time because clients have wants that they want to get me the best quality content. But oftentimes it doesn't happen. So it's my job to figure out how to get good content. And when I say content, I mean like photos or videos that still match the brand. So you could always choose to use a photo.
Okay. I like that. That's a good idea just to use a photo and you don't have to actually go and take the
Yeah.
time to make another design.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else that we missed or forgot to touch on when it comes to social media and your website?
I just think have a plan, be consistent, know what your brand is, know what your brand identity is, and don't beat yourself over the head about it. And yeah, it'll all come together.
Nice. Good. All right, Taylor, tell us how people can find you, get in touch with you if they want to learn more and work with you.
Yeah. So you can find me at my website, which is creativetk.com. You can find me on Instagram at creative.tk.biz. I try to post my marketing videos and give small tips to small business owners, usually once a week. So that's always fun because I do have a lot of information if you go back into the archives that you could kind of take with you and hopefully apply to your small business. Our business does everything from managing social media for our clients on a monthly basis to graphic design and, all the stuff that falls under the marketing umbrella.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Taylor. I appreciate you sharing all your wisdom with us.
You know, that's what I try to do. Thank you for
All
having
right.
me, Jenny.
Thanks so much for listening to this podcast all the way to the end. I really appreciate you being here. Please make sure to subscribe to the podcast, rate, review, and share it with someone else you know it can help. If you like this episode, then I want to invite you to visit jennybdesigns.com, where you'll find videos and resources to help make your current website work even harder for you. And if you're feeling like your current website doesn't truly reflect you or your brand today, it's not attracting your ideal clients or making sales, or maybe you just feel embarrassed by it and it's holding your business back, then reach out. I'd love to help you design a website that truly reflects you, works for you 24/7, bringing in those ideal clients and making you money. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time for another new episode.